why the hell would a man write about rape? I think this question implies that there are man's topics and women's topics, and that rape or sexual assault be a topic for women. I don't agree with that. I strongly disagree. Because I think if every fourth woman is gets a survivor of sexual assault, there must be a man who's doing this. And as long as there is a man should also think about what's going on. That's the main reason why I started writing. The even more urgent question for me was, in this context, what could we do if we get to know that people were raped? What was the chance for us to help, to comfort? And while thinking about these questions, I started to look for possible reactions for me. And thinking about that, I normally start writing because it's my way of finding solutions for the problems going on around me. First time I really got contact with someone who's a survivor was one of my neighbors. She was a very active woman, doing a lot of social work with foreign women from to help them settle in Germany and to get problems done in the offices and so on. She was very famous in the district. Everybody knows her, knows that she was quite active in the women's movement. And one day I just walked into the apartment building where she lived. And the moment I got in, she opened the door and looked at me and asked, "Have you seen this guy?" And I didn't know what she was talking about because I hadn't seen anyone especially, but she then told me just a minute before I was raped by this guy. And for me it was shocking because I had no idea how to react at all, what I could do, if I could comfort her, or if I could hug her, or if that was the last thing she wanted in this moment, to be hugged by a guy. And so I was really worried about how to react, and I think I was really stupid in this situation because I didn't know what to do. Yeah, the point is that that she changed in the curve of the next month. I could see it. She was the woman who was really a flower once, and everybody liked her. And then she got depressed, quit her job in the district district house, and throw back to herself, so that I can see what happens when someone rapes a woman. And it was horrible for me to see her every day and knowing what's going on with her. When I was a young guy in my 20s, I had the idea that I could change the world by being a pastor, by just doing my stuff with people and tell them how to look for how we can live together and how we can make a better world for us. And in this time when I was responsible for the youth work in our church community, I met a young woman, and she told me she wants to talk with me after a little time we got close. And we made an appointment. I went to her apartment building, rang the door, nothing happened at all. So maybe, okay, maybe she just dared me, and I rang again. Nothing happened. But at the moment when I think, okay, maybe I got the wrong date and wanted to leave, I heard that something was happening in her flat, and so I rang the third time, and she came, opened, smiled at me, a little shy, a little embarrassed, and let me come in. It took me long to understand that she was totally drunk, because she wanted to tell me something, but on the other hand, she needed so much courage to do that she drank a lot more than she should have used to. We sat on the kitchen table, and she tried to play cool, eating kiwi with a spoon, and it was an only mess, because after a few minutes the whole table was full of fruit flesh, but she hadn't eaten a bit of it. But I did understand that that's exactly what's going on in her brain. It's a whole lot of mess. She couldn't handle it. And yeah, okay, it took a few minutes, but then she told me what's going on, and that she was raped during her vacations on an island by a stranger. Well, what should I say about that? Was nearly as shocked as first time I've heard about that thing. And I didn't know how to react to her. But that's almost the idea of the beginning chapter of my book I've brought with. I've told you it's about rape too, and it's about a guy who met a girl, and after they came closer, she told him what had happened 3 years before on an island, and he is really interested in what does it do with her. But the problem is, and I think that's a problem most survivors of rape have, she don't want to talk about it afterwards. She felt obliged to tell me, but she didn't really want to talk about it, because she tries to suppress it, and tries to forget it as best as possible normally. So there was no intention at all of talking. And while I had no chance to get into her anymore, and I didn't want to get into her anymore, because I felt what it would do with her to talk about it against her will. I let my protagonist, Stephen, do the work. What he's doing is that he said, okay, if my friend don't want to talk about it, then I have to look for the person who did this. Not for any kind of self-justice, but only because he wants to have answers, and he wants to confront him with a deed, with what he's done to this girl. Because I think most of the rapists see the moment of rape, but don't see the whole bunch of things have to do with it and following up. Because in this case, it was really clear who he was, where he lives, and what he does for a living. It was easy to find him and to confront him. The only problem in this case was that he's not the kind of rapist you see from the first, and I think that's a problem at all, that you never see what's in a man and what's in his mind. Stephen, the protagonist of this novel, got the same problem, that he tried to like this guy. Just knowing what he had done, he felt into his charm. I don't know if I can say that, yeah. And so he's ripped try to understand, try to tell him why he's here, and on the other hand, he wants to understand what's inside of him, why he's so comfortable with this man. He knows he's at least a real bad person somehow. That's the main thing. Of course, he understands after time about the walls that this man, he's an artist living at Corfu, what this man is trying to build around him to protect himself, and he sees a lot of the masks and the life lies behind him. But it costs a lot of time. It's not an easy thing to do. To make a long story short, I have now realized that there are no easy answers to all these questions I have. That every case is different because people are different all the time. And I can't say there's this pattern, there's that pattern. I don't believe in this kind of pattern anymore because as you see in the first case I've told you about, it was about power, it was about might. While in the second case, it was more about attraction. The girl I've told you about was just kind of beautiful still, but she didn't like her beauty anymore. Because she knew that she pulled the attraction on him in some kind of way. And the story in my book is still another because this man was a real narcissist who couldn't stand it to be rejected. She had to take what he thinks might be normal for him. Couldn't take a no for a no. So there are a lot of answers. There's a lot of reactions for a woman to handle this situation. Most I felt that they don't want to talk about it at all. I think even the girl I've talked about was pushed by her therapist at this time to talk to anyone she trusts, and that she was so drunk and that she was so unable to handle the situation has to do with this. I've talked with the therapist then too, of course, not of course, but I did it because she called me, what was really unusual, and tried to help me understand the situation. It's not her job normally, and I think it was even unethical, but she did, and so I maybe get a little better view of the situation. She don't like to be around men at all. She lives with a girlfriend of hers for many years now. She's quite happy with it. And at the time when the whole thing happened, she even used to pull me into the gay community of Hamburg because that was the only type of man she could act with. Oh, somehow. So, if I get you a little curious, this book is as an ebook still available on Amazon. If you want to have a hard copy and hardcover version of it, you can always ask me, there's no problem at all. And if you're more interested in the subject, on Facebook there is a site with the name of this book with a lot of information, background information, helping information and this kind of stuff. So, thank you.